The common conversations are about, improvement and mental health, but not a lot of the conversations are truly around the mental illness itself. Those are the conversations that are still heavily stigmatized.
That means I'm moving. I made a few mistakes, but I'm improving. I'm human, but I've been making daily resolutions. I got to. You might do it different, but I'm not you.
Hey, Mark.
I'm self-made. I'm
Hey, Mark.
doing things that I
Mark.
was never taught.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
What is going on today? Welcome to another episode of Hey Mark, the podcast where I, Mark, get to have open and authentic conversations about, the things that maybe we don't talk about on a daily basis, the things that we struggle with, the things that we, might need to overcome. Maybe that's your mental health, maybe it's depression, anxiety, maybe it's some sort of a struggle you have going on in your personal life, your work life, your family life, whatever it is. No matter what it is, you are not alone and things can and will get better. And that's kind of the purpose of starting this podcast, is just kind of chat about these things. Hopefully bring a new perspective, maybe bring some humor into it, maybe make you laugh, make you smile, or just make you think of your situation a little bit more differently and just start that conversation. So, welcome to another episode of Hey Mark. Welcome to another episode of the segment, What Would Mark Do? And if you haven't listened or watched, this kind of segment before, what it is essentially is an opportunity for you to send in a clip of you saying, hey, Mark, and then whatever you want to say, whether that's a question, a comment, concern, maybe you're bragging about a recent victory you've had in your life, or just asking me about a current struggle you have going on in your life, or you just want my 2 cents on a situation, maybe something one of your friends is going through. You can send it in and I'll give you my 2 cents. I'll do exactly that. So without further ado, let's get to today's clip and I'll do my best trying to give you my 2 cents.
Hey, Mark. I got a question. What do you do when your mental health kicks in and you start losing your mind and you can't control how you're feeling or what you're doing, and everything, your whole body's just hurting and you just can't think straight? What would you do?
Okay, so that's a pretty heavy one. And you know what? I'm actually glad that you asked that question. If you guys didn't recognize that or connect the dots, that's Aaron. He's from one of the interviews that I've done recently. You can go and check that out. It's called The Road to Recovery with Aaron Perlman. And that's a really good question. The reason I like it is because, when it comes to mental health and when we talk about, self-development or, self-love or self-care, anything like that, the common conversations are about, improvement and mental health, but not a lot of the conversations are truly around the mental illness itself. Those are the conversations that are still heavily stigmatized. Those are the conversations that, don't really get to be had in the public space or in the public eye, because those kind of conversations are meant to be, or perceived to be meant to be, with just like kind of a counselor or a doctor. But that is the reason that I started this podcast. And for that reason, I'm thankful for you, man. I'm thankful that you asked that question. So, what do you do when you're just getting fucked up? When you're just getting held back by your mental health? What do you do when you just feel like you're getting beaten up and beaten down by your mental health? And what do you do when you feel like there's no way you can improve? What do you do when you feel like, maybe like you have no hope, like you've been suffering for far too long, where the suffering has just gotten recently much more intense? Maybe an event that has happened to you has taken away a person or a thing from your life that you just can't get over, or so it seems. Maybe you have something lingering in the back of your head. Maybe you have something that has been rotting away or haunting you for years, and it just kind of kicks in the wrong way at the wrong time. Maybe you're waking up and you just feel like you can't even do anything. When we're feeling down in the dumps, like there's a black cloud over your head and there's no chance that you could see the light through all of the pain and suffering. The last thing that we want to do is isolate ourselves, whether that be emotionally, physically, or socially, either. Instead, the first thing that we should do is try and communicate our problem. Try and talk to somebody, whether that be a loved one, a friend, a family member, a doctor, a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, any form of professional, or like I said, it could be a non-professional. It could just be someone that you trust, someone that you love, someone that you know has your best interests. You want to start to communicate these problems because at the end of the day, the more people you communicate to, the more resources you can find, the more connections you can find through other people, the higher the chance is that you'll find someone that suffered with something similar to you in the past or is going through something similar right now. And once you can make that connection and you feel like you're not alone, then all of a sudden you get a glimpse of hope. And you can start to instill habits and behaviors and little things like that to build momentum in your life, such that you can start to feel better. But what do you do when you're maybe stuck in bed and you can't even leave your bedroom? Well, the same principles apply, but at a smaller scale. You have to start to break things down and build your momentum still, but start, where you're at, right? Meet yourself halfway, basically, is what you want to do. And so maybe your first win is not to go out and communicate with somebody. Maybe your first win is just to get out of bed, right? Maybe it's just to start to breathe and gain control of your breath and start to lower your pulse and just relax. Then you can start to feel your muscles kind of ease up and the tension in your jaw and your neck and all of your joints starts to release itself. You start to breathe, you continue that. You start to relax, you continue that. Like I said, your neck, your jaw, all your joints start to relax, and you can make your way slowly but surely out of bed. And that's your first win. And then from there, it's maybe getting dressed or making your way to the mirror to brush your teeth or brush your hair or comb your hair, whatever it is you do. Meet yourself halfway, but still continue the same principle as earlier, which is just to build that momentum in any way that you can. And then from there, continue to build into more and more difficult things that are going to push you into happiness. You're wanting to choose things that, intrinsically we all know are going to lead us towards success, happiness, better health, better wealth, better relationships. These aren't things that I have to talk about too frequently, but they are things that I do talk about on a pretty frequent basis, right? Obviously working out, journaling, reading, eating well, communicating well, being honest, doing the right thing. Like, these are all things that, once we start to do on a day-to-day basis and we start to build momentum, then you're going to get better. And with that, obviously your mental health is going to improve. You're going to feel happier. You're going to feel more confident, more successful. You're going to overcome struggles, right? All of your wins are going to be relative. And it's not just relative person to person, but it's relative to the time that you're at or the stage that you're at in your life. And so what might have been a not so big of a win earlier in your life could be a massive victory now. And massive victories in the beginning of your life could seem like little victories now. So your wins are going to be relative. Sometimes in life you have to restart back at rock bottom if you're lucky, because sometimes you have to restart even below that, below ground zero, and you have to fight just to dig yourself out of that hole just to get back to rock bottom. And so you're not actually starting from square one. You're starting way before that, and you're basically having to fight just to get back to square one. Except this time, when you're back at square one, you're not actually at square one, because you've learned new lessons, you've gained new skills, you've gained new confidence, you've gained newfound grit, you've gained a new stress level that you're able to overcome. You've gained a new courage inside. And maybe if you're lucky, you've gained new friends and new connections along the way as well. And so to summarize all of that, what do I do when I feel like I'm being overtaken by my own mental health? I do whatever is the easiest and has the least resistance to incorporate into my life. And then I do that to build the momentum. And once the momentum's built, I can build from there. I basically build my momentum doing things that I'm familiar with, things that I know that work. And then once I start to feel that momentum building, then I branch off and start to do things that I'm a little bit more uncomfortable with, a little bit more terrified of, a little bit more anxious around. Things that I can't yet get my head around, but I feel like I might be able to overcome in the future. So it's basically taking on as much uncomfortability as you possibly can and pushing yourself to grow past that. So I hope that helped you out with gaining a new perspective in terms of, what to do when you feel like you're being overtaken by your mental health, by your mental illness, I suppose. And I hope this kind of helped in whatever building process that you're in, whether it's the rebuilding stage or whether you're looking at it in hindsight and trying to build a plan for if this ever happens to you again. And if you do have any friends or family members or anybody that you love or care about that might benefit from hearing an episode like this, please do share it with them. But other than that, that's all I got. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You are the reason that I do what I do. So keep being you. Thank you for the love and the support. Much love and peace out.